Thank you so much for joining me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. This is episode number 135, Teaching Attitude Adjustment. I love this one because you know what? At times, all of us need our attitudes adjusted. Someone shared with me that one of their younger siblings just woke up on the wrong side of the bed the other day, and the entire day was a challenge for the entire family. That's not that unusual. And you know, if that person who wakes up on the wrong side of the bed happens to be daddy or mama, oh, honey, it ain't going to be a very good day. And all of us have experienced that, and all of us know how bad that is. So it isn't like just the kids need an attitude adjustment. Sometimes so do we. So my first challenge question for you is, how am I doing at adjusting my own attitude? There's a good question for you. And then, how am I doing at helping my child adjust his attitude? Great questions, right? Okay. First of all, attitude often is something we think we don't have any control over, right? You know, teenagers are kind of known for it. So our preteens, they just have attitude, and everybody's just supposed to deal with their crummy attitude. Wrong answer, just so you know. We actually do have control over our attitude. I want to acknowledge to you, sometimes we don't have control over our mood. We just are in a bad mood. Hormonally, we're in a bad mood. Situationally, we're in a bad mood. People who are under a great deal of stress for a very long time, they can be in almost a perpetually bad mood. People with chronic diseases, people who are paralyzed, people who've had a stroke. There are definitely things that can cause us to be in a bad mood, and it's pretty much difficult to get out of that bad mood. You may not just be able to change that. Attitude isn't the same thing. You can actually change your attitude, and sometimes we don't want to, or we just want to convince ourselves that we can't change it, or we want an excuse about our lousy attitude. So first of all, you need to change your own thinking. If you believe that your attitude just happens and everybody's going to have to handle it, an attitude can be changed. And then you have to help your children understand that they, in fact, can change their attitude, and it's up to them completely whether they do it or not, but there are consequences if they won't. All right, with that baseline, let's look at teaching your child to adjust his or her attitude. So you wake up this one day, everything goes wrong. I do mean everything that can go wrong, it's going wrong. You got up late because the alarm clock did not go off. The towels aren't clean because somebody forgot to put them in the dryer, and everything in the wash smells horrific, and you've got to wash them again, and you don't even have a dry towel, so you don't get to take a shower, and your hair is a mess. So you do your hair differently than you normally do it, which is a bummer because you have a meeting today and you wanted to look your best. It just goes on and on and on and on. And you're cranky as all get up, and most people would have that attitude if everything in the world went wrong. You sit down at the table to eat a bagel with your kids, and everybody's acting up because they're picking up on your stress, your tension, and your crummy attitude. And you go, okay, hang on a minute here. Let me adjust my attitude. You do a couple deep breaths, which your kids are used to as a calming mechanism. And then you say, you know what? It's Thursday. The week is almost over. And I have a really big meeting today, and I'm well prepared for it. And the sun is out. It's not raining. And oh my gracious, this afternoon we get to have lasagna for dinner because a couple days ago when I made it, I put it in the freezer and I took it out last night. Yep, there are going to be good things happening today. You adjust your attitude instead of only focusing on whatever went wrong, even if there were a lot of what went wrongs. You're focusing on the things that are good and the things that are coming up that are going to be good, and you adjust your attitude. We all understand changing or adjusting a camera. You bring it into focus. As you bring things into focus correctly, it does in fact change your attitude. You help your children understand that. One of them is having a terrible bad day. They did not do their homework. They did not go to bed when they should have, so they're tired and crabby. They don't really have time to eat breakfast because you had to get them, moving today when they're usually getting up on their own with their alarm clock and they're dressed and they're ready. And today they're dragging their butt, and they did most of this themselves. And now all of a sudden, everybody in the whole house is running a little bit behind, and one of your other ones can't find their shoes or their socks or their belt or whatever it is that people perpetually don't find. And your kid is like, "Yeah, I told you you're supposed to get this. He knows better, Mama." They're just going to blow their bad attitude all over everybody. And you stand right in front of them. I am talking like this close to their face, and you say, "You need to adjust your attitude. Tell me what's going to happen that's good today. Tell me what's good about this day. We all know about what's wrong. We've all been here for it. We get this. Tell me what's good about today. Tell me what's going to happen that's good today." If they can't think of anything, then think of some things for them. Help them to start process and say, get a hold of yourself and adjust your attitude. You're not going to walk out and get in my van with everybody else and blow your attitude all over us in an enclosed space for 15 minutes. It's not going to happen. Take a minute. Get a hold of your attitude. The more often your kids have needed to do this in their lifetime, literally from the time they're small until they're a teenager, if they have practiced this and they understand this, within 30 to 60 seconds under most circumstances, they can get a hold of themselves. So can you. This is an amazingly good, helpful, productive skill for everyone in your entire family. If you need to do something a little differently at work to have greater success, you make that adjustment because it's going to pay off. Let me tell you, in your home, people need to learn how to make this adjustment because it is going to pay off. Big dividends. No kidding. So you have a 4-year-old. And they keep crying and they keep squalling and they keep screaming because they are really having a bad day. And you sit them down at the dining room table and you say, you need to adjust your attitude. "I know it, but I just can't do it." And you say to them, "Oh, yes, indeed, you can. And I'm going to help you." And then you do it. You're teaching them to adjust their attitude. And you say to them, "Don't cry, don't scream, don't fuss. Tell me what went wrong that's affected you so very much." It doesn't usually just come out of the clear blue sky. Something's going on that's affecting our attitude. And if it's their own behavior, they need to recognize it and own up to it. "I acted really bad to my little sister, and so I got in trouble and I had to do timeout, and now I don't get to have my tablet, and tomorrow I don't get to go to my play date, and I'm so upset." Okay, well, do you see how your own behavior led you down this road to this bad attitude? Yes or no. Either way, if they say no, you say, "Well, let me help you," because you acted badly to your sister. You knew the consequences. Now you're going to bear the consequences, and your bad attitude came out of all of those things from your lousy decision. Nobody said they were going to be happy with you. No one said they're going to love this. This is the point. They're learning. Okay, so you understand. You helped create this situation, and you helped create your bad attitude. Now, is your bad attitude going to change anything? Am I going to change my mind? Mom, Dad, if in the past you changed your mind by your child's manipulative, controlling, jerk face behavior, shame on you. Now you got to clean up that mess, just so you know. But if you're starting from ground zero, and so you're not letting that trash control your world because you're the parent and they're the kid and you know the difference and you can deal with the little junk coming out of your kid because that's some of the stuff kids do. And you say, "So listen to me carefully. You did this. And I'm sorry it wasn't the world's best choice. But what can you do? You can play with your friends outside, even though you can't be on your tablet. Though you don't get to go to your play date, you can play with your sister. And oh, it's going to be Saturday, so you get to play with your older sister, which you always love. You guys can play Barbies. You can play in the dollhouse. You'll actually be able to have some fun. And they're turning around their focus instead of just on the terrible, horrible, awful, bad stuff. They're focusing on some of the good. The consequences didn't go away. You didn't change your mind. Their behavior still has the same results that it had 5 minutes before. But their focus has changed and they can see there are some good things and they can adjust their attitude. A 4-year-old is liable not to do it in a minute or two. It might take them 15 or 20, but they can do it. When my sons were little boys, I heard a really wise gentleman named Craig Massey that came to our church and talked to us about parenting. And one of the things he said was, don't let one person in the household ruin everyone else's life. That should never happen. So if someone's having a really lousy attitude and really acting horribly, you say to them, you are not going to have this lousy attitude all over us because we don't deserve it. Go into your room, sit on your bed, deal with yourself. When you're ready to come and join us and act pleasantly and be a part of this family again in a correct way, please come back. He said when his kids were 3 and 4 and they had to go in their room and sit down, within 30 seconds they popped back up and they were back out. He said by the time they were 4, 5, 6, they understood. They had to sit in that room and deal with their attitude. He said he had one son that could do it in about 5 minutes. The other one took about 20. But he said very quickly they learned. They're not going to blow their junky attitude all over everybody. Here's why that's so important. Some people need an audience. Don't give it to them. It's amazing. Suddenly the behavior changes. Like, oh, dude, I have no audience. This is not really working. I don't want to have a bad attitude by my own self all day. Some people do. Some people are Eeyore. They really want to have a pity party and get down in the mud and really wallow. But most people who would like to be included in the family, and especially if something great's going on, there's nothing like being locked in your room having a lousy attitude but hearing everybody else laugh. Oh, you're going to adjust that attitude so you can go be part of the fun back with your family. And go in that room, deal with your stuff. When you're done, come back out here. Can't break stuff. You can't act stupid. You can't play on anything. You can't turn on music. No, you're going to sit there on your bed and deal with your attitude. I can really say this. When my sons were young a couple times, they had to do that. Very soon, right before our very eyes, they could deal with that attitude. I'm talking 60, 70 seconds. They could get a hold of themselves and deal with their attitude. Do not tell me that a person cannot adjust their attitude. Once more, I'm going to prove this to you. Without a doubt, you will know this one. So you're standing there having a fight with your mate. I mean, you are hot, right? You're just like yelling and screaming. And there's a knock on your door. And you answer it. Who's standing there? Your pastor. Your mother-in-law. Come on in. And you sit down and you have a conversation and you know what? In 10 seconds flat, you adjusted your attitude. I'll give you another one. You're at work and you're just carrying on about your boss with your coworker in the break room. I can't stand it when she blah, 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 blah. I hate it when he died. And in walks your boss. And you're like, oh, hi. The boss is like, how's your day going? Oh, pretty good. Are you working on that project? Oh, yeah, I'm making really good progress. I mean, in seconds, you can adjust your attitude. Don't insult me by saying, oh, I can't do that. Oh, yes, you most assuredly can. And once you see the value of it, probably you will. I hope this has been so very helpful to you. You can teach your child to adjust his or her attitude so that they can come into the family and be, if not pleasant, certainly livable. And you can help them to change how they're being, how they're acting, how they're feeling, and to look at their focus a little differently. Look at what is good, not only at what is bad and terrible. And help them to handle it. in such a better way that everyone in the house is going to benefit from that. I am serious. This one is a game changer. I want to thank you so much for being with me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. I will look forward to having you join me again soon. You may find additional information on our paintabeautifulpicture.com website. Additionally, you may watch me on Rumble, and you may also listen to a podcast on Buzzsprout or Spreaker, all under the name Paint a Beautiful Picture. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You may subscribe, and if you are interested in receiving notifications, please hit the notifications button.